could escape scrutiny by sitting back here.
Saw an ad in the paper the other day. It read for sale. Complete set of encyclopedias. Never been used. Husband knows everything. Despite what my wife thinks, no one knows everything. So I think I'll limit my comments this morning to what I know something about. High performance people, winners. What do they do? How do they do it? Now you may sit there and say, well, my, that's an ambitious topic. You've got to have a lot of brass. Get up before a whole bunch of people that you don't know and propose to speak about such things. Or at least be about 6'3", 6'4", broad in the shoulder, narrow at the hip, blonde hair, blue eyes. Well, I'm not any of those things. But I'm confident this morning, proposing to stand before you and talk about winning and high performance for a variety of reasons. First of which, I've been around winners. I've been around high performance people all my life. And really for my own growth, my own development, I've made it my mission, my purpose, to study these people. People in all walks of life, people in the military, people in government, world-class athletes, great coaches, people in the private sector. And I've studied them with a thought. What do they do when they're at their best? What I do this morning is just rinse through with you just a couple of these concepts. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm simply a conduit, a catalyst for this information. The only difference between you and I is I've thought about these things a little bit more than you have. It's my intention this morning to hold up for you a mirror. A mirror that you can look into and examine for yourself the breadth and the depth of your goals and the commitment and the discipline and the motivation you bring to the pursuit of those goals. It's my intention this morning to create within you a little dissonance, a little disharmony, a little dissatisfaction, which is the essence of motivation. So the balance of the day, you begin to ask yourself some hard questions. And maybe be satisfied with the answers, and maybe you won't. I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know. Just hope to maybe present it to you a little differently, perhaps in a manner that you haven't seen or heard before. Now you may sit there and say, well, Vince, nothing new? Come on. Not the same old, same old. Not the same old motivational stuff where every time we come to a gathering like this. And let me ask you a question. How many diets does it take to get down the weight you'd like to be at? Just one. The one you stick with. How many times you have to reorganize your office, your desk, your approach to how you advise, how you counsel your students before you begin to see some of the results you'd like to see? Just one. The one you commit to and stick with. And how many personal growth programs do you have to take on before you begin to see some of the changes in your personal life you'd like to see? just one, the one you commit to and discipline yourself to stick with. Growth, change, improved performance, that's a process. We don't leave it to chance, it doesn't just happen. We aren't born with it or without it. We can orchestrate high performance. Now please, I'm not suggesting for a minute that it's 1, 2, 3, ABC, we're going to do it by the numbers. Not going to stand up here and say, hey, just do these 5 things and everything's going to turn out great for you. It doesn't work that way. Besides, you're too smart for that. If it did it, I'm sure it'd lose over half of you. But what I'm suggesting to you is that if growth, if change, if improved performance is important to you, for your family, your community, your career center, if growth and change and improved performance is important to you, then there is a certain body of knowledge, there's a certain fount of information that you ought to be in possession of.